China is a big, big country. So naturally, you are going to get deep geography divisions all over. But in general, if you look at China from space, you would notice that the east is significantly greener than that of the arid, rocky north and west. Situated right on the eastern third of the Eurasian landmass, China's inner and coastal domain is kind of shielded by this arid, sparsely populated highlands in the southwest, west, and north, encapsulating the fertile lowlands inside. This is partially why it took Europeans so long to develop solid ties and interactions with the East. The Silk Road had existed for centuries prior, but crossing all the mountains and deserts and rocky passes was less favorable to sea explorations for Europeans. China has a vast domain of biodiversity and climate. The west and north will be radically different from the coast and south. So let's start with the inland and the coast. On the east side of China and the coasts, you have the heavily populated alluvial plains that are generally flat, where numerous spots for shipping and harbors and beaches with the cool-looking ones, like Panjing Red Beach that blossoms every autumn. Head a little bit north, up to the provinces of Jilin and Heilongjiang, and half of Inner Mongolia, along the borders of Russia and North Korea, and you will hit the coldest spot in all of China. In fact, every year, the city of Harbin, named Ice City, has a huge ice sculpting festival that draws in millions of tourists in the winter months. Head a little east and you will reach the rest of the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, which is dominated by the Mongolian Plateau, which is the highlands consisting of dry steppes, hills, and yes, the Gobi Desert, which fun side note is where all those beautiful caravan raiding and the give me back my comb or I will kill you chasing scenes for Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragon were filmed. Head a little west and congratulations, you've reached the wild west of China, the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. It's over 1.5 million square kilometers. Only about 5% of the area is fit for human habitation. This area is strange, rocky, rugged, mountainous, and loaded with oil, making it China's largest gas-producing region. Then you head a little south, and you reached a strange Taklamakan Desert, or, as we mentioned earlier, the cold desert. This huge basin of shifting sand dunes is almost completely surrounded by the snow-capped mountains. Trapping in the frigid winds. However, it still lies in the rain shadow zone, which means an area that having relatively little raining due to the effect of a barrier, such as a mountain range, that cause the prevailing winds to lose their moisture before reaching it. So it rarely receives any precipitation, that is, raining. However, the funny thing is, If you look closely, you can see the ice melt from the Tian Shan in the north and Kunlun Mountain in the south, feeding into the valleys below by the desert, until they created a dry riverbed that looks like a strange Angelina Jolie forehead vein in the desert. Head south, and then we reach the most notable autonomous region, the Tibetan Plateau. Still remember the numbers? Yes, an average elevation of nearly 5,000 meters. As the highest region on Earth, this area is situated on the Himalayan mountains, the tallest mountain range on the planet, and the tallest mountain in the world, Everest, straddles the border with Nepal. The funny thing is, the Tibetan Plateau, and to some extent, the Qinghai province, is so high that the snow melt runoff doesn't really have much to go in the arid north. So it just kind of flows into the empty crevices, creating China's largest network of freshwater lakes, speckled throughout the entire area, including the largest lake in China, Qinghai Lake. Many speculate that these are actually the sources of many of the major rivers in China, including the Yellow River and the Yangtze River. Then we get to the southwest by the provinces of Yunnan, Guangxi, and Guangdong. As the warmest regions in the country, these areas are home to some of the most picturesque rock forest and eroded mountain landscapes, with the terraced rice paddies that have literally usurped the entire surface area of hills and mountains. This is also the only place where you can find the snub-nosed monkey or the golden monkey. Southwest China is also famous for diverse population. All 56 ethnic groups have their presence in this region. Yunnan is home to 26 different people groups, and Guangxi 11. We will talk more about that. When you head inland, you reach the rural areas, and you can encounter the vast network of rivers and creeks that irrigate the endless crop fields that never end, with the occasional pine and bamboo forest. Here is where we have to address a little bit of the reality. Yes, China is loaded with beautiful scenery unmatched anywhere else in the world. I mean, the setting for Avatar was inspired by the Zhangjiajie National Park. However, just like any other major state, we do have our land controversies. China has been trying very hard to crack down on its poaching, and especially against the endangered species, like the black-necked crane, the golden monkey, and of course, the iconic mascot of the nation, the giant panda. Okay, that's so much for the tour.